Hello students, welcome to engineering assignments. In engineering assignments, we are dealing with disaster management subject in which we are going to study the measures for disaster risk reduction. The first measure is of course is prevention, second one is mitigation and third one is preparedness.
So today we'll be discussing about disaster preparedness. This is the topic we have to take today. So disaster preparedness means you have to get prepared. That is, when a disaster is going to happen, when you get a signal or early warning of this disaster is going to happen, then what you must do is that you must get prepared for this disaster. That is, you must be prepared to face a situation so that you can decrease its effect. That is, you can decrease the rate of the death. You can save your properties. Okay. And this disaster preparedness is the action before disaster. So it should be the action that must be taken before the disaster is going to happen. Now, I'm putting the definition into points. That is, disaster preparedness encompasses the knowledge and capability developed by the government, professional response, recovery organization, communities, and individual to effectively anticipate. Anticipate means you have to foresee. That is what is going to happen. Then respond to it. If it happens, you have to respond to it and you have to recover from the impact. So this is the definition of disaster preparedness. And this includes the plan, what to do, where to go, and who to call for help. Now, what are the components of comprehensive disaster preparedness strategy? A comprehensive disaster preparedness strategy includes, first one is hazard risk and vulnerability assessment. That is, you have to find the locality of the disaster where it is going to happen, how much people will be dead, how much properties will be damaged. So you have to make an assessment on it. So next one is preparedness plan. So planning happens in three phases. One is government planning, next is public planning, third one is hospital planning. In the government planning, you have heard about yojanas that has been prepared. All these yojanas is actually the planning of the government. So when the coronavirus affected the whole India, planning was conducted at the local level, national level, regional level, and state level. Do you remember? We went to complete lockdown during the corona situation. It was a planning which was done at the national level. So we were all prepared to face this corona situation that we all went in the lockdown state. When the coronavirus affected Kerala.
In state level also we underwent lockdown stage and that was from the state level preparation. Then in the hospital level preparation, what we did is that we created an emergency department, we prepared ICUs, we arranged ambulance, we provided quarantine facilities for the infected person, the ventilator facilities was provided, that all things were dealt by the hospital people.
Next, it's community disaster preparedness. Community means it is a people around there, the public. Okay. So community-based disaster, the people should get prepared for the disaster. So you should give a training to the people that whenever a disaster is going to happen, what all things you have to do. I hope you have heard about NDRF. So NDRF people, what they do is that the NDRF will train the people about what is going to happen, and if such a condition happens, what all step you must do. Okay. For example,
the place where you're working catches fire. At that time, you will be very panicked and you won't be knowing what to do. Okay. Some people will start jumping from the windows. People start using the lift and all. But whenever you do such things, most of the people get injured and some people get dead also. So if our training is provided for our community, basically the NDRF will be providing the training what to be done during such situations. So if we get a training, then you will understand what all steps to be done during such a situation. First one is that you can use a fire extinguisher, you can use the stairs instead of the lift and go to a place where there is no danger of the fire. Okay, so this can be understood only if you have a proper training.
so that is community-based disaster preparedness. Now, next is resource mobilization. Resource mobilization means we have certain resources like NDRF. The government will give a particular training to NDRF people. So they will be attending trainings and seminars and all based on the disasters which is going to happen, so that they can help the people during disaster. Next is early warning system. Early warning system is very important because during early warning, you can evacuate the place where the disaster is going to happen. If the flood is coming, what they will do is that they will give an alert alarm. Or if the dam is going to open, they will provide an alarm that you must be safe from the situation, move from the situation. So early warning is very important. Next is public education training and rehearsal. So I already told you, if you give a proper education, a public education, or you can give a public training, you have a rehearsal for that, then the people will understand what to do when the disaster happens. So the public education is very important. You have to train those people also. Next is response mechanism and strategies. So whenever disaster is going to happen, how will you answer to such situation? It is response. Whenever the disaster is happening, most of the people will be losing their mind. They don't know what to do. So what you have to do is that you have to save the people life and try to provide them all the basic needs like food, shelter, water, etc. And if they want medical emergencies, that also you must provide in this case. Next is you should provide coordination. People should work together and people should join their hands together during the time of disaster. That is called as solidarity. That is oneness. You should be all same. There should not be any discrimination based on the caste, religion, creed, etc. So you must have joint responsibility and there should be a humanity within you. There should not be any partiality based on any circumstances. Next is information management. So in the information management, you can see that whatever information you are getting should be passed on to the people. And one thing you must also see that whatever information you are passing to the public should be really true. Okay, it should not be a fake one. So information management should also be there. Next is type of disaster preparedness. So there are various types of disaster preparedness. First one is target oriented preparedness.
Do you remember when the COVID-19 prevention vaccine was given in India? The first lot were given for the people above 45 years and people who suffered of high risk diseases. And it was because they are the people who may be severely affected by corona. So here what we did is that here we targeted on a particular group. And if we target on a particular group, then it is called as target oriented preparedness.
So the preparedness is based upon the people who are or group of people who are more vulnerable towards the situation. So preparedness plans may be target specific. For instance, we may require different type of planning for the vulnerable group of women, children, elderly and disabled people. Next one is task oriented. Specific group jointly develop an activity based on one of the community plans to evaluate the community capability to activate preparedness plan in the real emergency. So that will be the task oriented. And eventually these tasks enables the development of the plan revision, employee training, material resources to support the readiness. Next, disaster oriented preparedness. That preparedness, will be based on the disaster that is going to happen. This addresses the likelihood of occurrence of a specific disaster.
We know that by August and September of year 2018 and 2019, the Kerala got high rainfall, which led to flood in whole Kerala. So we are anticipating this type of disaster and we are doing all preparedness for facing such disasters.
So emphasis is placed on the structural and non-structural mechanisms.
For example, in case of flood, the flood resistance buildings can be built up and cleaning drainage before the flood, building dams, etc. comes under structural mechanism. The emphasis should be also placed on the non-structural mechanism that depends on some rules and policies.
So I hope the disaster preparedness is okay for you.
Thank you students. Thank you for watching my video.